Hello and welcome. Today I'm in a town called Węgrów, 65 kilometers approximately northeast of Warsaw, and it's a very attractive place to visit. This, however, is the industrial area. It's quite a small industrial area because the town's not all that large, but it's really very attractive and well off the beaten track. This town had a Jewish population around 20%, although by the beginning of World War II that percentage became close to the 50%. Indeed, by the time of a census that was carried out in 1940, there were far more Jews than non-Jews living here. This is what is left of the Jewish cemetery here. You can see that word very clearly written down there, Nie zabijaj, don't kill, and the sign says in memory of the Jews of Węgrów murdered by the Nazis in 1939 to 1944. Obviously in 1944 it was occupied by the Soviet Union. There's a sign here, and whereas I could possibly do a better job of the translation if I were writing it down, I'll read it from the English rather than translate it from the Polish. The reason for this being it will possibly be a little bit quicker. The Jewish cemetery probably already existed in the 17th century. Before World War II, it occupied a large area. Among the gravestones, field stones, were inscriptions that were of high class and of polychrome carved gravestones. The tomb of the rabbi was protected by a small grave. Also, the Jews of Warsaw benefit from the cemetery in Węgrów to the founding of the Jewish cemetery in Brudno in 1780. Incidentally, the cemetery in Brudno, definitely worth visiting. It's absolutely enormous, and it's another thing. It is off beaten track because people normally go to the cemetery, which is quite close to the centre of Warsaw. Anyway, continuing. During World War II, the Germans carried out mass murder, executing on the cemetery the Jewish population. In 1943, liquidated mass graves of the murdered corpses happened, and they were burnt in an area called Little Treblinka in the sand. The monument, the lapidary, located on Berkela Yoselowicza Street, was paid for by the city of Węgrów and constructed in 1982. It was designed by Wiesław Ratajski and it was made by the stonemason Kazimierz Pabian. Consists of tombstones destroyed in consists of tombstones that had been destroyed. Here it suggests they were destroyed in the 1960s. Sorry, that's in Polish as well. It's destroyed in the 1960s. The cemetery in central part stylized tablets with inscription of the Ten Commandments in Polish and Hebrew. And this is down here. I can't actually see the Ten Commandments from here, but maybe you can, because I've noticed occasionally when I film things, it's visible in the camera, but not to the naked eye. I still can't see them. Anyway, I'm sure they are there. And so now, the Jews of Węgrów were taken to Treblinka in September of 1942. The ghetto here was very large, and the population was very large. The ghetto itself was very small, and but they failed to actually capture all the Jews. It was an open ghetto. That meant to say that there were people who were able to get out. Even those there were escapes during the roundup. Most ghettos, in fact, were open, although this one was particularly large. The population was particularly large for an open ghetto. What was called a rest ghetto, I'm trying to think of the right word in English here, a new ghetto, a supplementary ghetto, was made at the bottom of the town square along what is the ulica Gdanska, and that was for Jews who were in hiding. There's accounts which I've read, people actually went into that ghetto thinking that they might be safe or have temporary safety, but that was in April 1943. The Jewish people living there were rounded up and murdered. It mentions here the destruction of the bodies. Now we know that people were shot here and it was like Sonder Commando 1005. The bodies were dug up and they were burned. I had somebody in a comment yesterday writing, "Oh, it's impossible to burn bodies. It would have taken all the trees up in Europe." I'm sort of lost with words to describe how stupid that comment is, but I'll have to. Oh no, sorry, I thought there was something written up there, but that's the end. Węgrów really is a supremely attractive place. Now, with the exception of one or two of the houses in the old town square, the house of the former rabbi who was murdered 23rd of September 1939 in the main square by being, he was stabbed with a bayonet and he died of his wounds. And other than that, there's very little that remains of former Jewish Węgrów. Anyway, I'll do other videos on this subject. I wanted to show you this, the cemetery, or the former cemetery to the Jews of Węgrów, which you can see here. For the moment, thanks for watching. Bye for now.